Well, that's interesting.
I don't think we're anywhere. We're just recording. Let me see right here.
I might set up a brand new live chat. Yeah, I'm setting up a brand new one here.
And it's not on Facebook either right now. Oh, yeah, we are on
Okay,
Facebook.
good. Yeah, there we go, Daryl. Yep, we got it. But we're gonna get onto YouTube right now. So, Chevy, tell a quick story.
Well, I'll tell you a quick story. I've got a little bit of a cold, so if I have to blow my nose during the show, I may have to do that. Now, so what are we doing here? We got 4 people on Facebook, and if you're on, send us a quick comment. Let us know if you're there. I put my volume on so I can hear myself. Again, everything was working before when we tested it.
Yeah, our test. We tested it twice. It worked.
We tested twice, it worked, and then when we decided to go live, it doesn't work. So we've got a couple of people watching right now on Facebook. We're working out the kinks on YouTube. And how do you want to do this, Sheldon? We rolling or what?
Well, yeah. Why don't you, Chevy? You had a bit of an interesting weekend. Why don't you tell us a story about your weekend while I figure out these glitches that I've got going on YouTube right now?
Yeah, and so this weekend was a very interesting weekend. My son Luke and his buddies were having their grade 12 grad, so it's a very busy weekend. We started with a grad mass on Thursday night. And then we did the convocation ceremony, and they had a large graduating class. They had 750 people about. How big was your grad class in North Battleford?
I think we were right around the 800, 900 mark.
Yeah. In North Battleford?
Yeah, North Battleford, yeah.
800.
Yeah.
Is that just because people came from all over the place? Like that was your
No, North Battleford, booming metropolis.
No, what would have been your graduation class?
It would have been about 800. Yeah, I think we were. Oh wait, hold on a sec.
Your graduation.
No, I think we were like. No, I'm sorry. I think we're like 800 or 900 people in the whole school.
Well, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. And composite was it grade 10, 11, 12?
Yeah, 10, 11, and 12. Yeah.
So anyhow, big convocation. They did that at the UFC at the Jack Simpson gymnasium there, which was a really good venue and was really nice. And then Saturday they did a grad dance. I thought that was really cool. But while all of that was going on, for me, it was very tough because I was having my windows done. And this is something that I've needed to do for years. I live in a little townhome that was built probably sometime in the 70s, late 70s, maybe early 70s. I don't know, but it's the original windows there. And it was a big job. My house was an absolute mess. It was causing me stress every time I went there because there was dust, there was dirt everywhere. I guess when they put these windows in the 70s, they didn't use the spray foam and the nails to hold it in place. There was like PL premium glue, the epoxy stuff that like it takes like a tank. It takes 50 caliber bullets to get through that stuff. So these guys were cutting and drilling and sawzalling all day, and it was just a mess. Like when I asked the window guy, and he's a great guy, he did a great job, but when I asked him, what do I need to do to prepare for this? He's like, oh, just pull a few things away from the window so we can work. Oh, every time I walked in my house, it looked it literally looked like a bomb went off. I had no windows.
You think about it though, like it's one thing to do a renovation of a kitchen where you're tearing out cabinets. You start pulling out windows, your house is just a shell.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It is gutted. Like that's the only thing keeping you safe from the forces that be outside, whether it be wind or raining, which we've been having a ton of rain. Did you have any of that come in, or what do they do? Do they drape plastic all over the place? Or?
No, they did one window at a time, and they seemed to avoid most of the rain that came down. But the thing for me was the mess, was trying to, I wasn't living in my home because we had enough events that we had to come in and out for. But at the same time, Brittany was in. My kids were at their mom's house because I wasn't going to have them over the weekend. It was an absolute nightmare. Like each room was just, destroyed. But Brittany and I, we had to get ready for all these grad festivities. And it was weird because we didn't have our own space. We didn't have we didn't have well, we had privacy in 2 rooms, but it was like the banging was loud. These guys were working with their loud music. Like, it was just unsettling. And I was having a hard time, especially on Sunday after everything, the grad stuff was done. And Sunday afternoon came. I couldn't relax in my house. There was no relaxing in my house because they were still working. And, I just wanted one day where I could just chill. I mean, we've had some busy weeks from even before we had our men's mental health movie night a few weeks ago. The grad, the prep, all the stuff I had to do, the go pick up the suit, go buy the gift. Like, I just wanted a Sunday to relax. And I came into my house and it was absolute chaos. I couldn't relax. I left the house at noon. I told the guys to lock up and I didn't come back to my house till, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night. I went to watch a movie. I went to hang out with my boys, play, because my boys were at their mom's house. And I went to watch a movie. I just needed that quiet. I went to watch Mad Max prequel for Furiosa, which, if you love the Mad Max movies, you're going to love this movie. It's really good.
You saw the movie? So that movie's out already? You saw it?
Yeah. I saw it
right
on Sunday night, and it was fantastic. George Miller, another fantastic movie in the line of Mad Max movies. It kind of takes place right before the most recent Mad Max, so just before Furiosa escapes with the damsels in distress to go to the greener place. If you follow the trilogy. But yeah, it was a great escape from what was going on in my house. It was a great escape from busyness. And then I got right back to it. And Monday I made the fatal error. The guys are still working on Monday. They're still working on Monday. I decided, you know what? My kids are coming back Monday night. I got a busy week. I'm going to a tournament in Sherwood Park this weekend with Kyle for his lacrosse. And I say, you know what? I'm going to clean up. They're working at the front. They're doing a couple of things. They're replacing my doors too. I said, but you know what? I'm going to clean up. So I started cleaning up all the stuff behind me, took everything down, dusted, cleaned it, washed it, because it was a mess. Cleaned everything, right? I did that all day yesterday. I was like, oh, maybe I'll go to the gym in the day. It was my day off. Cleaning, never get to the gym. Then all of a sudden it's getting later and later. 4 o'clock comes and I had to head down to Okotoks for Kyle's lacrosse game. And we had to be there for 6. We had to leave at 5. He comes home from school. I feed him. And just as I start feeding him, the guys start ripping out the back door. And same thing, like the windows they had trouble with, they couldn't get it out. So it winds up being the Sawzall banging, crowbars. Like, it was just a nightmare again. And I was like, oh, we got to get out of here. So I'm like, Kyle, that's it. We're out. Let's come back later. I'll take a look. I get back at 10 o'clock at night after Okotoks and another lacrosse game. And my house is right back to the mess it was before. It's like I didn't even clean it.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't even clean. So I get back last night and then I'm working till 1 a.m. just to clean things up again. The kitchen counter, because they did a window there, all the stuff behind me again, just to feel like I accomplished something. I'm exhausted. I think that all the dust is probably what's giving me the runny nose. My eyes are absolutely red because, all I'm smelling is glue, dust, drywall, and fatigue. That's what I'm living through right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for
a story.
Thanks for joining Chevy and Nasty on the ride. We've got YouTube up and going. I see some of you guys are all on there. Those of you guys that jumped over to Facebook, feel free to jump back onto YouTube if you prefer the chat there. But yeah, Chevy, that's quite a weekend, and that just reminds me, this is why we do what we do, right? That crap happens. I was talking to, and he's on here tonight too, Robin Bones has had a heck of a month as well. Just family stuff going on all over the place. And you know what he said to me on a phone call earlier today? You know what I need right now? I need the brotherhood.
Yes.
And that's the thing. As busy as it gets, as stressed out as it gets, it's almost why you have to find that time just to come down, get on a phone call, grab a beer, grab a coffee, grab breakfast, whatever works in your day's schedule, your lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
And just reconnect. And because of that, guys, I tell you what, we're so appreciative that you guys are joining us tonight. We worked out the kinks a little earlier than we did last night. And Chev, I even found you a little surprise, a little throwback to the show back in the day that I think I can do now. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do
Here
this.
we go. Let's start off this ride. Oh.
Still like it.
Still like it. Yeah, and Jamin says, finally back, yay, YouTube. Guys, yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a bit of a challenge for Chev and I to kind of work our way through all this technology and figure out how to do some of these things ourselves. But it's about that time. I mean, I guess we've done tougher things in our lives.
Well, and you know what? Let's acknowledge some of our friends that are here tonight. So on YouTube, I see Nanamana's there. I see Rubio. Rubio says it's showtime. He also reminds everyone to like and subscribe to our YouTube, our Facebook. We're at all social media channels at Chevy. And actually, I lied. We're not on all. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook and YouTube. So yeah, like and subscribe. We're going to get this figured out. Like, we had a meeting the other day and we're like, listen, the content is there. We got oodles of content. That's why we could speak till 3 a.m. That's why we could just keep going. The production, yeah, we're getting there. But we, with our good friend Daryl from Performance Freight Management, who's backing us up, he wants to help us get to where we want to go. We met with our good buddy Bruno. We're going to be meeting with some other folks. We want to build this slowly, and we want to build this right. So we're going to take our lumps. But you know what? We're going to take a few punches in the first round. But I promise you, by round 12, we got the endurance to come in swinging. So let's
you know what those speaking of rounds, I do have a bone to pick with you, Chev.
Okay, go.
Here we are. And guys, you've heard us talk about it before. I told you about my buddy Cozy in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Do not text me on game day. Do not call me during the game unless we're down. And so I've kind of over the playoffs at first. I was like, come on, dude, it's no fun if you can't go back and forth. But you know what? He was right. When I distracted him from doing his job, which is paying attention to the details in a close game, the Oilers lost. And so now I'm totally bought in, right? I'm just in a little igloo by myself watching the game. And then folks, here it is, game 3. Oilers jump up to a 2-0 lead, and Chev starts texting me saying, "Hey, how's the game going? I hear it's going well." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, yeah, it's going well. They're playing well. Hey, what do you think about this for the show this week?" Bam, puck finds the back of the net, 2-1. I'm like, "God, Chev, I'm just going to pause it, right?" So I stopped texting him back, and swear to God, no word of a lie, within the next 7 to 10 minutes, I've got 15 texts coming from Chev. Just all random stuff, just like not about the game, not about the show, just something. Hey, I just saw this guy doing this. That's crazy, right? And sure enough, I start responding to again. Bam, back of the net again, and the night just continues. And next thing you know, the Oilers lose. And Chevy, I'm telling you right now, it seems funny to say that, but I swear to God, when your attention is not on the little details, every time the puck enters the zone, if you're not watching the little things, bad things happen. That's why you don't stand out there in the middle of the ice or the middle of the field and wave to your girlfriend or to your parents, right? Or even your kids, maybe at halftime, your kids, right? But yeah, Chev, you just threw me completely off. And now the Oilers are down 2-1, and I don't see a path forward.
Well, yeah, Sheldon, I do apologize because I get excited. First of all, I described my nuts weekend into my nuts day yesterday. I was driving from Okotoks, and then I had one game in Okotoks from 6 to 7:15, and then I had to get to Shouldice Arena for another game from 8:15 to 9:45. So I was running, and I was looking for updates, and ideas were flowing. There's so much going on, and I can't contain myself when I got the ideas, and then the goals were going in, and I was getting the updates from you. I was getting them from Brittany, and I was like, maybe I did jinx you. Maybe I did do this. And I got to tell you, I'm on the Oilers bandwagon. I'm not a Calgarian that's secretly happy that, Canada's quote unquote team right now is suffering. I want them to win. We need this. Canada needs this. A lot of Calgarians don't want it, but I want. So I apologize. I because I do believe in my power to affect the outcome of a game. And I believe I may have caused the Oilers to lose. Yes, I do. But Chelsea, let's turn it around. Let's turn it around the only way we know how, right? There's only one way we know how to turn it on in our show, and that's to come in with hot and heavy with a poem. And then maybe we'll get back
there
to
you go.
Why don't we do that? So, for all of you listening, and maybe some new folks here. I don't know if there's any new folks. We got some people still listening on Facebook, and we got some people on YouTube. I'm looking at the Facebook feed now. We got Ernie Regis waving us a big hello. So does Amanda Napastik. Daryl McAveen is on both. He's a man of many talents. And we got some people going back and forth. But for those of you new to the show, we're going to start with a poem. We call it the 300-pound poem, and it's going to begin with Sheldon. Is that your cat in the background?
Yeah, can you hear that?
Yeah,
that's my cat. Yeah,
is your cat in heat?
That's that cat that ran away.
Is it in heat?
He's got a big voice.
Yeah, he's got a big voice.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Use your big voice and start us off, Sheldon.
Here we go. It's late night, and if you're stuck inside, we've got your back. Welcome to the ride.
McDavid's 2 points were not enough, as the Stars are showing that they've got that right stuff.
But how could the Oilers blow it? They had a 2-goal lead. They better smarten up, and they better stop that bleed.
We saw a lot of action this week, and it's happening in BC as the Lions season kicks off with Mr. Fiddy.
Sent, that is, the man with good raps. Almost as good as our rhymes, but he probably gets more claps.
We had the 300-pound poets, and our poets, and our rhymes always come in late, but they always arrive like our sponsors, Performance Freight Management, that is.
I love it. Shout out to Daryl and the amazing work that he does. Yeah, no, Chev, good poem, buddy. Yeah, I can go with that. And I think, hey, if I can figure out that intro splitter this week, that wasn't the real one. It was just like a whatever one. But I think we're going to find some poetry music for next week. We're slowly going to get this ship turned around and heading in the right direction.
And, let's acknowledge a couple of people here. Rob Evans joins us. Our good buddy
did you see what Rob Evans said, though?
Yeah.
The son that attended the event that won 24 sessions, the most generous fitness package I've ever seen given out at an event.
From our buddy Kevin Smith at Brothers Path and Grind and Barrett Fitness. He donated 24 personal training sessions. Rob Evans
broke his elbow last week and had to have surgery today. Oh, Rob, I'm sorry to hear it. Out 3 to 6 months. You know, that's a tough one, man. That is a really tough one. I mean, 3 to 6 months with a surgery. God.
I also got to give a shout out, Sheldon, to Luke, my son Luke's buddy, Ty Chukoin. I can't even say his last name. He's saying hello. He's a big fan of the ride. In fact, he's actually a big fan of Nasty. I had to have Nasty send a thumbs up picture during the convocation ceremony because these kids thought that you were showing up. So he's a big fan of the show and even bigger fan of yours. You got some pull with the young ones, Sheldon. Wow. I think they like your takes on the music. And our buddy Bruno's here, and he says, congratulations to Mavericks alumni Jonathan Giustini, drafted by the Ticats, and Tyson Blackburn in Toronto. So the Calgary Mavericks pumping out the pros. So let's go, Sheldon. Where do you want to go? We have a little bit of a script. I'm going to take a look at it. If I want to pull it down for a minute, then we'll bring it up. This weekend, we're talking about a lot of stuff, but pro golfer Grayson Murray, 30 years old, died by suicide. Family confirms today. I just want to pull it down for the reason that, we're going to have fun on this show. We always want to have fun. We always want to be that space. He even said Robin needs the brotherhood tonight, right? Everyone needs that community once in a while. And we look at Grayson Murray, 30 years old, died by suicide. We had a wicked men's mental health night a few weeks ago. And one of the things was that permission to ask for help, that permission to go talk to someone, that permission to understand what is going on and trying to fix it. And unfortunately for this young man, it didn't happen.
Yeah,
The only reason I want to bring it up is because we didn't really give the number, the number that people can call, the crisis hotline number, right? And we want to make sure that people know that if you are feeling like you don't have to anyone to speak to, there is someone out there to speak to. And that line, Sheldon, what you got the number there? It's what is it? 988?
Yeah, 988. Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're ever in crisis, if you need to talk, if you need resources, that is the number that you can call. It's across America. Unfortunately, for this young man, Grayson Murray, he didn't have that opportunity. And so many people we saw this year, so many people taken by suicide. We talk about big names like Chris Simon that played here at Calgary Flames, and lesser known people, not just athletes, but people in every walk of life, people that we're connected to, people you're connected to. And did your cat just jump on your?
No, my wife just brought me a glass of water because she saw me struggling there with. I think some of that dust from your renovation is making its way into my house.
Yeah. So
yeah, and that was terrible too, because you know what, Chev, on that he'd stepped out of the tournament on Friday. I mean, he's a 2-time PGA tournament winner. He's a guy that's competed at high levels.
Won some majors. Yep.
That had been a couple majors, and you know, he'd battled. He'd had his battles with alcohol, right? Yep. By all appearances, you know, he's back on track, but something happened. He walked off the green Friday afternoon, and Saturday night it was over. So yeah, but my heart goes out to all those guys. I couldn't even imagine what his parents are going through, what the other golfers and the people that are around him are feeling right now, right? Just that the whole thing of, how did I not see that? Right.
Yeah, or maybe they saw it, and sometimes it's something that you can't stop, and that's a tough one too, right? People dealing with mental health, people dealing with addictions. It's a very tough space to be in. So just wanted to bring it up. We want to make sure that you know, as we're going to move on and have some laughs, we did take a moment to talk about some of the serious stuff. Now, we mentioned in the poem, there's so much to talk about, and we got to go to BC. We got to go to BC. The CFL season is about to kick off.
Yeah,
I'm really excited about this. Next week, June 7th, Friday night, home opener in Calgary. I'm very excited about that. But before we can talk about that, we'll probably hit that next week. I want to talk about this big announcement by the BC Lions. Home opener, 1 hour before the game. They're bringing in 50 Cent.
Yeah.
What's his name? Curtis
Jackson? No, what's his?
I don't know.
Can't remember. 50 Cent, man.
If you know 50, yeah, it's 50 Cent. And the, you know, partying in the club and all that's your birthday and all that stuff. And this is a big move. We talked last week, we were talking about the BC Lions and the exciting product they had on field, the Grey Cup that's coming November 17th, and how Amar Doman, the owner of the BC Lions, has been making waves. Last year, they brought in LL Cool J for the season opener. They've upped the ante this year. And, you know, when I look at this move, this is a season opener game. They're going to be playing the Stamps. It's in 2 weeks. So it's not next week, because next week they're on the road in Toronto. But the week after, they're going to blow the lid off that place. They're going to absolutely blow the lid off BC Place.
Yeah. I mean, and you take a look at it, and it's something that really any club in the league could do, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But this owner has really just taken it upon himself to say, listen, I'm going to change the culture in this city. I'm going to change this culture of this game. I'm going to get people excited from day one. Like, are you planning to go to the Stamp season opener?
I want to, and I'm planning it as of right now, that if I have God forbid, no events that I have to go to, which I don't think I do, I would like to go to the Stamps home opener. The weather's going to be nice, and I've circled it on my calendar, and I'm planning to buy a ticket next week.
So there's a whole lot of, I'm probably going to go, maybe I won't. There's a lot of things going on. But when you kick off the season as an owner with that kind of a statement that I'm going to bring in a name that's worth it, come in 1 hour early, and you're going to see a guy that, you know, you haven't been able to see up here for years.
Well,
you know, I think about, like, what if that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking right now, like, what if every team did that? What followed that model? Bring in Maestro Fresh West, bring in Deadmau5, bring in some act that was still relevant. Maestro Fresh West was more than 10 years ago, but he just did hit the I think Canadian Music Hall of Fame. Bring in somebody that is actually going to make it an exciting event to come and go to, and start turning the game and the venue into a place that you've got to be. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, no, I think it's brilliant as well.
Because if it was here, I'm the same as you. I'm probably if it works out, I'm going to the game, right? But there's a lot of things that are working against it. If it was an event or something that's truly exciting, a show that I wanted to see, or something where I had to be a part of that energy, yeah, I would be there. Absolutely be there. I think hats off to him. I think the other clubs in the league and the CFL itself can really take a cue from this. He's trying to drive the excitement, and it works. People are showing up. People are buying tickets. It's going to be a sold-out game.
Well, if they're doing this for the season opener, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do throughout the season, and then for the Grey Cup, because obviously this is a buildup, right?
Yeah.
Like 50 Cent was one of the headliners at the Super Bowl in LA a couple of years ago. You know, the Super Bowl halftime show with Eminem, Dr. Dre, and that whole crew. 50 Cent came in upside down big 50. He had the big cheeks, and he was singing upside down. It was kind of weird. He looked a little bit bigger than 50. He looked almost like $1.
Yeah.
But he came in hot, and that was a Super Bowl halftime show. So again, I've used excited. It's just something really interesting. It's an interesting storyline. For a club that for a number of years was struggling a little bit with numbers and interest. When David Braley passed away, I think there was a little bit of a wane. He owned 2 clubs, right? The former owner of the BC Lions. He owned the BC Lions and the Toronto Argonauts. He was doing his best to prop up both franchises, and he did a pretty good job. But Amar Doman is doing some big things, whether it's concert announcements, whether it's party buses bringing people from Surrey to the games and then back after, whether it's half price hot dogs and concessions. He seems to understand that getting the fans to the game at a reasonable price is going to inspire them to be there for long term. And I've got to tell you, BC is one of those clubs that, whenever I used to go to BC, I loved going. I played my last football game at BC Place, and I couldn't have been happier because it gave me one more opportunity to go on that field, on that wonderful stadium. I mean, when they did the renovations to that field, it was just unbelievable. And it's a top-notch sporting facility. So to have that facility, to have that excitement in the city, to have that build up to the Grey Cup, that's a really good storyline for the CFL. In fact, they're also doing the Touchdown Pacific this year. So they are trying to generate a ton of buzz in Western Canada. And I think really the strength of what they're doing with the Lions on field, because they do have a great on-field product, but also off-field is going to pay huge dividends. Bringing in an act like 50 Cent for your home opener is going to attract a whole bunch of people that are kind of like, I don't know about football, but I'll go watch a 50 Cent concert and stick around.
Well, and it might, it might not connect
that.
with the kids either, right? I don't know if 50 Cent's going to connect with if you're under the age of 30, right? But it's going to make sure that you're recapturing some of those people that you have lost over the last 5 to 10 years. Yeah, and it also sends out the signal that, listen, guys, come in. My place is open. We're going to have a good time. Right. And you talked about the buses coming from Surrey and different places. That's what the riders used to do. When I was a kid in Saskatchewan, there was buses going to Regina every game day from Prince Albert, Saskatoon, North Battleford. I mean, they just reached out to the community and made it something that people want to be involved in. I think my hat's off to them. I think they're doing it right. I would like to see, I'd like to challenge, some of the other clubs to see if they can do the same thing.
And you know what? The other thing that I think about that, like you mentioned, well, will it resonate with the younger fans? I don't know. But you know what? If we look at Super Bowl last year and the halftime show with Usher and Alicia Keys, I mean, that was they were big 30 years ago. They were big when Fitty was big, and they got rave reviews. And people listened, not just the older people. I kind of didn't appreciate the show so much.
Did that have that big of reviews this year?
Well, it got good reviews. People loved the show. They said it was a great show. And I'm sure some of those people were the kids that were watching. I can only imagine that a 50 Cent.
Yeah.
There's an attraction there, right? Like 50 Cent hangs out with Eminem. 50 Cent hangs out with Dr. Dre. There's a little bit of that street cred that comes with him. And I think that's a really good building point or a good starting point. A really good starting point for what they're trying to do in BC. So, definitely want to look at that.
Two comments here. Jamin says, too bad that they won't have a chance to host the game. Hope they have good seats set aside. You don't know that, Jamin. You don't know what BC is going to be able to do this year. Vernon Adams coming back healthy. You don't know.
You never know.
You never know. But Daryl writes in saying tailgate the ride an hour before. I think that's a good idea. I think we should start setting up shop there at some of these events. And
well, you know what?
Give us an excuse to go see them.
We should start one day by sitting down with our buddy Jay McNeil, who showed up to our men's mental health movie night, and let's have a chat. Let's do the ride as people are filing into the stadium. Play it up on the jumbotron on the side. Just do something that's fun. You never know. Maybe we'll get there. Tonight we're on YouTube and Facebook. We are getting there. You're joining us live. It's the ride Tuesday nights from 11 p.m. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook channel, all our socials. I hope that some of our good buddies from the network we on, I know Rubio was on, and MD and the Chef are sometimes on, AC is on. So, all these guys are still around, and you guys are here too. Robin had a great quote. He said, what did he say? I'm looking for his quote. Oh, he said that 50 Cent is not too bad either. He hates Diddy. Now, that's something we're going to talk about a little bit later. I don't want to leave BC just yet. I don't want to leave BC yet because there's a couple of things going on, right? We could go two ways. We could keep it in the CFL, or we can dump it to the Whitecaps. Where do you want to go? You pick.
Well, let's jump to the Whitecaps. There's a big disappointment coming out of Vancouver this past weekend. Of course,
and courtesy to our intrepid reporter Bruno the reporter Lindia put us onto this story. So Sheldon, go ahead, kick it off.
I don't know much about it. I heard it this weekend though. There were Messi, of course. One of the reasons you bring a guy like Messi into your league when he's past his prime years of playing competitive football or soccer is that, even though he's not playing at the same level, he is a name. Right.
Well, yeah.
And you can tout that name. You can say, we got Messi coming to the field, and it sells tickets.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is the second time now, at least, where, I don't even know what team he's with shows up. That shows you what I know.
Miami.
He's with Miami. Shows up and no Messi.
Yeah,
and that's got to be a letdown. Now, they made a big thing about it because earlier in the season, there was a time when they expected to see him at least on the field, and he wasn't there. This time it was announced. But you know what the biggest thing for me, Chev, that just shocks me about that whole story?
What's that?
His first name's Lionel. Did you know that?
It's a Argentinian name, Lionel Messi. You got to say it right.
I think it's Lionel.
No, not Lionel.
I had no idea. I knew who Messi was, and it shows you I'm not a huge soccer fan, right? But I do recognize the greats, and I would love to see him play live. That'd be awesome.
Okay, but
I just had no idea his name was Lyle.
Here's the story. The story. This is the story. So, Edmonton Oilers come to town. You put down, I don't know, $500 a ticket, lower bowl, to go see Connor McDavid show up. Day of the game, he announces he's not. Maybe the week before, he announces he's not going. Like he's not coming. Do you go to the Calgary Flames and ask them for your money back, a full refund?
No, because
that's
it's a lot. It's a lot. I'll tell you what. If they were pumping it up and advertising it, and he was like a healthy scratch, I might. I'd complain for sure.
But that's what's going on in Vancouver. So apparently, depending on where you read, they were really pumping this up as Suarez and Messi making an appearance in Vancouver for the Whitecaps. And you got it right on. Like the MLS, that's their formula. Take a washed up star from Europe. And then bring him over to America, offer him an ownership stake in the team and some good money, good American money, and he can ride on to the sunset. No other sport does that. Football can't do that because, the CFL is not offering big money to guys that are washed up because your body's too done. There's no league that offers that like the NHL, maybe the KHL. Some guys went over there, but you make your big money in the NHL. The MLS is uniquely positioned that's how they market their league. And there's enough cachet there and enough people that love soccer that now get to see that guy, like you said. So families are making pilgrimages to go visit and watch these players like Messi in Vancouver, and now they're disappointed. And they're asking for their money back. There's a petition, I think 1,500 people in a petition. Do you think that there's any, that they should even go for that there any basis for that?
No, I get it. It sucks, but it's like sports entertainment is entertainment, but it's also sports. And in sports, some weeks you're playing and in some weeks you're not. If I get a ticket to the last, I've saved up my pennies to catch the last game of the year. Am I going to be disappointed when the quarterback that I've been dying to watch is being rested? No, it's going to happen, right? In this case, Chev, it was known. I don't think it was hidden that Messi was not going to be playing in that game. I guess maybe Vancouver was still pushing it out there. They've got a reason to bitch.
They planned to open the upper bowl. They thought they were going to expect 55,000 people. Tickets were going on.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know it was that
for $500. So I think people were bitterly disappointed. Bruno brings up this comment, and there's a little bit of conspiracy with this. It says Messi doesn't play on artificial turf, but he cashes his checks in banks with fancy carpets. And that's true. So there is a bit of a story there that a lot of the guys don't like playing on the artificial turf. They played on the soccer pitch, the grass pitch their entire life. Artificial turf, again, there's a lot of controversy with that these days in terms of what's going on with some of those field turfs out there. But you know what? We should talk to our guys at GTR who sponsored our events. Well, GTR Sports Turf. They've been revolutionizing the fields, and they've been wanting to make some inroads in the fields so that it plays just like grass. But lots going on.
But did you hear what happened in Calgary today? Speaking of artificial turf, so Calgary's field turf that they have is right now at the end of its life. So it's supposed to life out next year, and they've got to replace it, right?
Yep.
What's his name? And it's just slipping me right now. He was Rookie of the Year 2 years ago.
Yep.
For the Stamps. Got injured, blew out his Achilles. Malik Henry. Yes. And this was he's trained so hard to come back today in practice. It sounds like he had a serious injury, maybe blew out that Achilles or the other one today on practice. I mean, it was so disappointing to the guys. Dave Dickinson, after the injury and after he was carted off, he just called practice. Just a huge morale killer to the team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were touting the return of Malik Henry to be one of the key weapons for Jake Mayer, Matthew Schultz. So to have this happen, do we know how severe it is, or we're just kind of at the beginning stages where they're
I heard an interview with Dave a few hours ago, and they weren't speculating yet other than to say it looked bad. And I don't think anybody at this point is expecting to see him anytime soon, whether that's, a month. You get the feeling it's going to be another year. And you know what, really, what it took me back to, and anybody that's played sports and have faced an injury before, like, what was the longest term injury that you've had, Chev?
You know what, Sheldon, I'm not going to lie, and I'm not patting my own back, but I never missed an injury, a game with an injury. I've had injuries, but I've never missed a game.
So the smaller ones, actually the same thing in my CFL career. I missed my last regular season game due to a sprained MCL. So I was quite fortunate. My body's built like a Ukrainian tank from Saskatchewan farms, right? Like, it took a lot to take me out. But when I was in university, my junior year playing the Oklahoma Sooners, I had the pec tear, right? Tore my pec right off. I still didn't miss a game. I played the entire season, which was stupid. And then we'll get into that another show. I had it reattached and rehabbed for the next off season, and really wanted to come back strong for my senior year. Well, senior year, week 4, I'm back starting again, fully recovered. I blow up my knee against Texas A&M. Guy rolled, big offensive lineman rolls into my knee. I'm out, but it was an MCL. Missed 3 games. And now we're into week 7, week 8 of the season. And I'm so excited to get back in. My parents flew in from Saskatchewan to come watch me play. As it turned out, it was the last game I ever played. I think, it was Texas. No, who was out against? I can't remember even which my last game was. But then the following Monday in practice, our own scout team guy rolled up on that same knee out for the year.
You were on a string. And sometimes that happens, right?
Sometimes it happens, but that the mental is an injury. It might be like getting cut from the NFL, where you're just in limbo and you're training. Is somebody going to pick me up? Am I going to get that one last chance to go back out there? Like, my heart goes out to Malik because these are his best years. This is where he's supposed to be developing. And you know how hard it must be to come back from an Achilles. Like, I know the medical science and treatments have come a long way, that Achilles aren't what they used to be, but it's still not a small thing to have to retrain, re-stretch, just get that ligament working well again, all the strength and balance around it, to get injured in practice. God, I feel bad for that guy.
And that's like the Aaron Rodgers come out on Monday Night Football and 4 seconds in blows his Achilles, and everyone expects that maybe he's going to come back this year. And I don't know. I don't know. Achilles, years ago, you blew your Achilles, you were done for good. Now there have been guys that have come back and haven't had, but oftentimes you rupture one Achilles, you do all the work. I've seen it so many teammates, they come back the next year, they rupture the other one. I don't know what it is. I don't know the biomechanics of it. It's probably an overcompensation for all those months and not having that balance, even though they try. I know that the medical staffs, and it's not just the Stampeders, because you've seen it everywhere. Medical staffs everywhere are on top of their game But even with that, it's just so unpredictable. So back to Messi. Are we blaming him for skipping out? Because that's going to lead to another point. I just want to put a bow and finish off the Messi thing. Is he right for not showing up? If the turf was the example, was the reason, or are those fans owed a refund? Because the team wants to offer them half price concessions, but I don't know. You know what it reminds me of, and I'm looking in the comments here, and I don't know if we're going to answer his question, but Ty Chickwin, he loves music and he loves the nasty. He asks Axl Rose or Chris Cornell. I'm going to tell you first of all, Chris Cornell, but that Axl Rose reference reminds me of the Montreal Guns N' Roses Metallica concert in 1993. It was a mega tour at the Olympic Stadium. Axl Rose comes on the stage. His voice is not right. He sings a couple of bars of November Rain and just drops the mic, throws up the double birds to Montreal, leaves the stage, right? So fans are up in arms, right? So this is a similar situation, except they're in the arena, in the stadium. Metallica comes on early. James Hetfield playing guitar. Pyrotechnic goes off and burns him during the concert.
Same show? Oh my God.
They're done. Riots in the streets. Well, not in the streets of Montreal, because the Olympic Stadium is kind of an industrial area in the East End where I live. So it's not like it could have spilled out downtown.
Wow.
But they rioted in the Olympic Stadium. Is this the same situation? The Messi situation? Is it the same?
No, it's not, because it's a team sport. And, a few things about that. Listen, if Axl is one of the highest performing musical athletes on the planet. To hit the notes that he did.
He's also a diva.
Yeah, he's also a diva, and he lives a little bit hard, so he's got a little responsibility for that. So, in the case of a band, I put a little bit maybe more on them to the show must go on. In the case of Messi, I mean, dude, you know what? Like, he's not paid enough to put his body at risk. He's trying to extend his career as long as possible, and you've got to manage your talent. You've got to manage your body. You have to manage your injuries. And, it's a big story. Yeah, it's unfortunate for the fans. I think it really goes back more on the Whitecaps pumping this up, though. It should almost come with a disclaimer. Like, if you're gonna sell 1,000% more seats than you normally sell, or whatever they do. I don't know how many. I don't know if they sell at the lower bowl on most of their home games. But as a fan, you got to know there's going to be a bit of a discleaimer with that. And
so somebody's next week, Messi, come see Messi. Messi not guaranteed to show up.
It's how it goes. It's how it goes. I don't know if he's injured or maybe he's being a bit of a diva, but I think that's just what you get when you go on with especially going to watch one of your older favorite athletes. Would you be shocked if Wayne Gretzky didn't show up to the Oilers alumni game? I mean,
Yeah, no, for sure.
But one thing I will say, folks, is Chevy and I we've had our ups and downs. We've had our colds and our flus and our technical difficulties, but we show up every week, don't we?
Yeah, and you know what? My nose cleared up. I'm not like before the show, I was sneezy, sniffing, blowing my nose. I thought for sure I have a whole box. Look, I brought a whole box of Kleenex in case I had to blow my nose. And you're the one who's choking. You're the one who needed the glass of water to get you going. But I did take some allergy meds. But we are happy to be here every Tuesday night. It's the Ride with Chevy and Nasty, 11 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can find us tonight. Look at this. I'm looking at both feeds. So if my head's down, I'm looking at the comments on both Facebook and YouTube. We figured it out, sort of. And we're happy to be here. So where do you want to go?
I got one for you. I got one for you.
Go.
And I wish, I don't know if Rubio's still with us, but I thought this would be a great one for him. So it came up after the game, after you jinxed me and the Oilers by sending like stupid random texts that had nothing to do with the game or the show. I tried to distract you.
Wait. I did not text you once while they were up 2-0 and blew that 2-0 lead.
No, you texted during the downfall. But at the end of the day, it was a 1-goal lead. You're the reason why they pulled their goalie too early again. And it's the little details, right? It just takes one. Anyway, I'll show you at another time. But somehow it led to a conversation about one of my favorite things in the whole world, which is food. And somewhere that conversation about food led us to probably one of the most under-respected sandwiches that this world has known, at least as a prairie kid growing up. And I had to ask Chevy if he's ever had one, because I don't know if they eat this in Montreal,
Well, wait,
but I know we had it at every funeral lunch after funeral, memorial, school lunches,
graduation.
And that is the egg salad sandwich. Folks, I'm curious. Do you guys love it? Do you hate it? I haven't even tasted one in probably 10, 15 years. But it got me thinking about the egg salad sandwich and how under-respected that sandwich is. First of all, Chevy, are you a fan?
I love the egg salad sandwich.
So you ate them in Montreal?
Oh my God.
No cheese curds, just like a straightforward
egg salad, mashed, like hard-boiled eggs mashed up with some mayo, some onion, some cucumber in there, just
or pickle, even pickle. You can even put pickle in.
Yeah, even pickles in there. I love the eggs. I can eat egg. Listen, there's food groups, and then there's peanut butter jam sandwiches and egg sandwiches. I could live off that. I could have peanut butter jam sandwiches all day, or peanut butter banana, like basically from morning right up until about 1:30 p.m. and then again later on at night. And between that 1:30 to 8 p.m. mark, it could be egg salad sandwiches all day. It's got everything you need. Look at that. Robin says delicious.
Yeah, it even brought Rubio back on here again. You know what? So you could have an egg salad sandwich every single day.
I could eat.
I couldn't do that. Now that's a true fan.
But there's only wait a second. There's only one type of bread you put it on, and that is white sliced bread. There's no whole wheat. There's no like baguette. There's no croissant. There's none of that. It's got to be a white slice of toast. And I see the comment coming in from Ruby. I'm going to read it right now. Deviled eggs in egg salad sandwich out. Wait, deviled eggs. He says deviled eggs in.
Egg salad sandwich out. You know, okay, I can respect where he's coming from. I don't totally agree with you, Rubio.
He says he's basically saying that I am 90 years old watching the Golden Girls every night. You know what? First of all, I love Marge. I love Marge or Madge. I think it was Madge and Sophia. So I did love the Golden Girls, Smidge. But egg salad sandwiches, it's the ultimate. You go on a hike, Rubio, where you want to fight your bears in Canada after you eating a nice poutine at home. You're loading your cooler with egg salad sandwiches because you can do the whole hike up the hill and back down on egg salad sandwiches and peanut butter and jam sandwiches for the road. In fact, this just reminded me of something. 2016, Chevy was no longer with the Stampeders. I'm talking in the third person, of course. After an illustrious 11-year career with the Stamps, I was no longer in a training camp anywhere. Lost without a job, not knowing what to do. Chevy decided to book a train ticket for him and his 3 boys to travel across Canada on a Via Rail.
I remember that.
And Chevy is a cheap, tight ass.
I remember that too.
Was not going to buy food on the train. I had a suitcase of clothes. Each kid had their own suitcase of clothes. I had a suitcase of games and books and stuff to keep them occupied. And then I had a cooler full of peanut butter and jam sandwiches and egg salad sandwiches. And we rode across Canada on peanut butter and jam and egg salad sandwiches. That's all we ate for 2.5 days, except we stopped in Winnipeg and we had a milkshake and a burger at that famous diner that was on Dives Diners and what's that show? Diners,
Drivers, and Dives. Yeah, Triple D.
Yeah. So there was the one in Winnipeg. It's right on the side of the road, right by the train station. Me and my boys, we got off the train. We had that, but the rest of the way, it was egg salad sandwiches. I don't care if we were in Saskatchewan. I don't care if we were up in the way north of the Canadian tundra, the Canadian Shield, coming down to Toronto. Egg salad sandwiches got me and my boys across Canada.
There you go. And Bruno's saying Spalumbo's in Calgary, known for their sausages, right? Amazing sausages, amazing deli. But they actually feature a good egg salad sandwich there too.
Really?
Yeah. So, which I wouldn't have even thought of for an Italian diner, right? But I'm going to have to go check that out.
But that's like going to McDonald's and having a McFish. Can you do that?
Well, to be truthful, no, I don't think I would. That'd be like lower down on my order.
Like
maybe give him some credence to what Rubio's saying. But now he's come out and said, you know what? Yeah, it's right in the category of hobo food, like meatloaf. Dude, now we're fighting. To me, all of us grew up with our mom's meatloaf, where it was like nothing special, although it was kind of good. I've really refined my.
Did you just say your mom's meatloaf?
Sorry, yes, Mom. Sorry, good. Your meatloaf was good, Mom. It inspired me, but I had to take it to the next level. And much like you talk about with the egg salad sandwich, it is the bread, right? You've got to have that nice thick European white bread. That's you can lightly toast it. I never really toasted my sandwiches a lot. A little sprinkled paprika was perfect. It's the same thing with meatloaf. I go with some Dijon mustards in there, my own barbecue sauces, maybe wrapped them in bacon. I smoke it. I do it in the oven. Meatloaf, dude, don't even get me started on meatloaf. Meatloaf is like the wonder food, the wonder comfort food of the North.
Would you do anything for love? That was
like meatloaf. I'd do anything, but I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that.
I mean, I wouldn't. At least I wouldn't come on the air afterwards and talk about it and say that I did.
So we talked about meatloaf. We talked about BC. We talked about CFL. Talked about the Oilers. Are we excited for tomorrow night's Oilers game?
They're done.
Yeah, they're done.
They're done, dude. When you jinx it as badly as you jinxed it, like we've got to work through 17 unnecessary texts, which is going to be at least 3 more rounds, like 3 more playoff rounds. So maybe I don't know, a couple years from now, if they can luck their way through.
What do they say? It's the hope that kills you, right? And
it is.
We're so far in now. And listen, the only people that are not invested, I assume, in Canada and the Oilers are diehard Calgary Flames fans. Because anyone that's like me that lives in Calgary, that kind of cheers for them when they're playing, except for the Habs, and that kind of cheers for the Oilers, except when they're playing the Habs. I'm all in for the Oilers now. Like I was really disappointed when I ruined the game yesterday. Like super disappointed.
It was hard. It was hard because McDavid came out. There's speculation about whether he's injured. They're talking about possible wrist injury. He came out skating like he looked like he just came off of like a 10-day break, right? Yeah. Just spent in the gym, rehab. He looked amazing. Mm-hmm. But Dallas, like quite frankly, looked terrible. Dallas looked horrible in that first period. But the problem, that's the most frustrating thing for me with the Oilers is they seem to get this thing in their head that when everybody's going on all cylinders, McDavid, I think he had like 6 shots in the first period on 8 shot attempts. And everybody around him says, hey, we're doing good, right, guys? Let's just let it ride. Yeah. And you can't do that in the playoffs. You know what happens in the locker room, in the dressing room during a period break? They're breaking down everything. They had that period broken down by the 10-minute mark, 15-minute mark of that period, and they were working on a plan to come back. They showed the guys exactly what they're going to have to do, and then they went out there and executed it. And Edmonton spent the next 30 minutes without a response. I mean, it picked up a bit at the halfway through the third period, but they had no answers. It's like, okay, wait, guys, we're the best, we're the kings of the world. They're down 2 goals, and they're just like they didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
It's frustrating, and the deeper they go in the playoffs, the losses hurt more because you know that it's closer, and closer to the end.
I'm seeing right now. Yeah,
I gotta go back. We gotta go back to the comment by Rubio. Rubio's on fire today. We keep him up late, but he's on fire. He says meatloaf is not good at all. It's just a comfort food that you remember because it was a time when your parents, my mom too, didn't really have the skills or the money to give you better. Rubio, you have never.
Oh my God, Rubio!
You have never had a cheese and spinach cranberry filled meatloaf wrapped in bacon at the fire hall. You've never had that. You never had that. I guess poor Mama Rubio didn't make a good meatloaf because you're scarred, my brother. You're scarred. But so we're excited. I'm excited to watch the game tomorrow because I do think the Oilers have some bounce back. I heard Kelly Rudy talking today on local Edmonton radio, and he said, you know what? He says it's not hopeless. It's not like sticking a fork in it. They're done. These are the top players in the world. Chev. It's not. You're the Oilers fan. How can you say it's done?
Because right now I'd be jinxing them to say they had a shot, Chev.
Sheldon.
See, it's real, man. It's real.
No, I don't think it's done. So I want to hit a few topics before we go because it took us a while to get the motor running on the Chevy and the Nasty. And we got some people tuned in. So we talked CFL, BC, CFL. The season's starting next week. One of the things I want to talk about last week that we didn't get to, and it's going to be a story. It may or may not be a story, maybe a non-story, is the CFL allowing players to play with those Guardian hats, those Guardian caps. Like those. So they got a helmet on, and then on top of it is it looks like a padded, kind of hexagonal shaped thing. So basically, let's say on the helmet you got over me, they put like this foamy thing on it.
It's a diaper. It's a diaper on your helmet.
Obviously, it's to protect from head trauma,
that's a hard one.
Concussions, CT. They use it in training camp. They use it in practice. It's been adopted. The 7-on-7 leagues, those guys play with them in the games. Even though 7-on-7 leagues are non-contact, they use those. CFL players will have the option to use a Guardian cap over their helmet for the season. So they will have the option. Do you see a widespread adoption of this? Is this Sheldon? Is this the NHL going to helmets and making it mandatory? Like, is that where this is? Is this like the 80s and Guy Lafleur being told, hey, you got to wear a helmet? He's like, no, I don't wear a helmet. It make my hair look ugly. I need the flowing hair. And then, guys slowly adopting the helmet. Like, what do you see this move as being? Obviously safety, but do you see players adopting it?
I'm with Rubio on this one. He says it's a condom on a diaper on top of a helmet. It looks horrible. Like, it really does. But here the truth of the matter is there's been head injuries are nothing to take lightly, right? And Guy Lafleur never wanted to cover up those locks, right? Everybody saw the hair flowing as he skated down the ice. And it took a major change to get to it. Like, do I see more players adopting this? The truth of the answer is I'm going to say you're not going to get more players adopting it for the same reason why players, use colored spats. They do things to stand out in the crowd. These don't look good. So I'm going to say a handful of smart players are going to adopt it. I wouldn't have been one of them. Just because I think they look ridiculous. Okay, are they going to save guys' melons? Yeah, they will. Are they going to save your brains from getting scrambled? Yeah, they will.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. And let it percolate. So helmets, hockey helmets, goalie face masks were invented before they were mandated, before it was mandatory. Are we there? Are we giving players the option to use these, and then eventually, just for liability's sake, that the NFL multi-billion, it's always being sued by the players for the money that they didn't get while they were playing and the money they could get. The CFL, does this become an issue where the risk of not mandating it is too high? And by risk, I mean the cost. If there is an alternative to play the same game and make it safer, but we're not choosing to adopt it because it's just the way it is. But so I'm asking you that question. Do you see that? And
it's a good question.
It's a big change.
The hockey brought out the Cooperall, and that was so god awful. They went back.
But let's talk about safety. I'll answer the visor. Look at the visor issue in hockey, right? Players who don't wear visors, they're not tough. But how many players? You remember there was a junior hockey player. I remember in Quebec growing up, Saint David something. He lost an eyeball because he got a stick in the eye. But players getting hit in the face with a puck, being blinded.
For me, it all comes down to this. I think the technology for protecting one's brain has to improve in all sports. 100%. Is this it? Well, first off, I haven't even seen the studies on it yet. It feels like it's a bit of a trend. Now, at the same time, it seems like it's something that could probably work, but it changes the optics of the game so much. Like, can I make that thing smaller? Can't I make it look so it's less obnoxious? Like even back in the days, I remember they used to have these rubber caps that you could put over your helmet that would also do the same thing. They looked funny, but they weren't as bad. But they never caught on because nobody wanted to look different.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think if something like this is going to catch on, one of two things are going to happen. One, it's got to be mandated, and it's going to come from the NFL or the NCAA. Right. It's going to start at some major league first. It won't start in the CFL. The second thing is, though, I think it's going to, and I hope so, prompt some new technology to make that thing look not as obnoxious. Like, are you with me? Like, when you see that on film, and I haven't watched a game with it played yet. I just see clips on, on Sportsnet or whatever. I think it looks ridiculous.
The hard thing is I haven't seen enough gameplay footage where guys are fully padded wearing those. What I typically see is guys wearing their soft shells practices, which those were introduced to football. Like when you and I played, we had padded days, and then we had non-padded days, which is days where you didn't wear your football pads. We didn't have days where we didn't have anything over top. Now they have padded days where you wear your hard pads that you'd play in a game. Then they've got the soft shells, which those came out after midway through our careers. And then you had the no padded days. What I'm seeing now is guys in either the soft shells or literally no padding wearing those Guardian caps. I haven't really seen anyone fully equipped with one of those Guardian pads on. So I don't know. I just don't think that I don't think they'll catch on, like you said, unless they're mandated. I do want to say, everyone here, I'm mandating all of you to like and subscribe to all our channels: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, wherever we go, because as we build this thing, you're going to want to see what's going on. You want to be on the top of the things when we do another event. You want to hear it coming out. You want to see the reels that we make from this. But Sheldon, it's midnight. You know what time it is. It's not time to end the show. It's time for overtime. We're going to switch to another topic. And I think we're going to go kind of a topic, 6 degrees of separation, 2 degrees of separation, go back to BC, back to 50 Cent. We're talking about 50 and some of the stuff going on in the news. This is kind of where we get into a little bit of the celebrity sleaze, the Hollywood tea. He's had a beef. He's coming to BC, but he has a beef with someone. And that someone he has a beef with is someone who's very infamously in the news these days, and that's Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs, whatever you want to call him. Sean Combs, every day, a little bit more news coming out that he is just a horrible human being. Horrible human being. Horrible.
Yeah.
And, we talk about 50 because 50's been calling him out every step of the way.
Yeah. No, he has been. I don't know exactly when that beef started, but it has been heating up, and he's been on top of it ever since. And there must be something there why he's calling the guy out this much, because he's really making a concerted effort. I don't know if you heard, Chev. Actually, I was going to bring this up last week. 50 Cent's got a production company.
Yeah.
He's already shot a documentary on P. Diddy and his take on it.
I think that's what it's called, right? Did he do it? Or something?
I think could be, that'd be a good name. It was not. I'd be trademarking that pretty fast. But yeah, he just sold the rights to that for huge dollars to Netflix. I haven't seen that they released a number yet. But this is part of Netflix, aggressive take on getting, from live sports events to things that are really topical and current. I mean, they spent a lot of money, is what I heard. I hear it's coming out sooner than later. So yeah, does 50 Cent have more insight than the average human being? Yeah, he probably does, right? Because they've got some connections, and a lot of guys talk when they're in that industry. Am I interested in seeing it? Yeah, I want to see it.
Go ahead.
Well, it's because Diddy he's come across as a scumbag. I mean, there's video proof. There's evidence of every accusation that was made against him, and how it was covered up is all now starting to come to light. More people are joining the party. And not just the victims of a couple of women and probably a ton of men and a dude there too, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of other names that are going down with him right now too. Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big names that are sweating it right now. Like Jeffrey Epstein sweating it right now.
Yeah. Well, he was sweating it. He's no longer sweating it because he's dead. But
he didn't kill himself though.
Yeah. But with 50, this what's happening is, and every step of the way, he's publicly, usually when a star is going down, people tend to just let it crash, let the train crash on its own, right?
Yeah.
But every step of the way, from the federal raids after the sex trafficking scandal and lawsuit, 50's been commenting. And he'll just say things like, yeah, they don't raid you unless they know something's there. Talks about these famous parties that Sean Combs was notorious for hosting, and how 50 said that he stayed away from those parties because he said that I think one of his quotes was, if 50 Cent if Puff Daddy hugs you, he hugs you from the front and from the back, and just so many weird behaviors. And obviously these scandals and the video, if you haven't seen it at all, just video Sean Combs elevator video. It's pretty graphic. It's pretty disgusting.
It's hard to watch.
And Rolling Stone did a really neat investigative piece. They went back. They interviewed 50 people that have crossed Sean Combs throughout his lifestyle, way back to his university days at Howard University in the United States, and just the stories coming out, how he's abusive. He beat a girl in a dorm. All these allegations. Obviously, when you have money like he did, you could cover things up, settle out of court. But people are starting to speak up because that one, they're feeling a little bit more confident because of what's going on there,
Well,
and they don't want any more victims. They want this guy. You know, he's been known as a predator.
People here's where I'm maybe a little bit more cynical than you are. I think people are speaking up because it's a bunch of celebs wanting to attach themselves to a big story.
Yeah.
And so now you're going to have to be really careful about what you take in and what was witnessed and what was hearsay. I'm not, and that's not standing up for Diddy. I'm just saying right now, the cool take is going to be, yeah, I know what Diddy did because I saw it back in 92. I saw it in 98.
They interviewed the mom and dad of the one rapper that was he was a music exec. He started going out with one of Diddy's ex-girlfriends. Again, I don't know all the names. They all have weird names. They were at a wedding in Italy, and he beat the crap out of this guy. Beat him with a chair over his head. Like, this guy got beaten within inches of his life by Diddy. When he broke up with J-Lo, or she broke up with him, he was sending people to stalk her on the daily. Like, this guy is a problem. And then there's all the conspiracy theorists that say he has something to do with the death of Tupac.
Not a conspiracy theory. There's something there.
The death of Biggie, you know, which I'm not even a big hip hop guy, but that was big news. And Puff Daddy's career and his label Bad Boy Records really actually took off once the Notorious B.I.G. died, and they were resampling his music, releasing his music posthumously. Yeah. And the guy that was making all the money off that and all the fame was Puff Daddy. And I think there's something to that there, that 50 Cent Puff Daddy feud, starting with that and some of the stuff that's not yet public, you know. And the Rubio says this: the fact that P. Diddy hasn't been brought up more just shows how connected he truly is. Stevie Wonder,
dude, he's been a best friend to the Democratic Party in the States. Like, he's done fundraising and vouching for presidents. He was like that guy that could bridge pop culture and bring everyone together. But every time I see somebody like that power hungry, you always got to wonder what their motives are.
Yeah.
And then you start hearing these stories about him, like his camera, the parties that he threw, he had cameras in every room. Everything he did was so shady, dude. Like, so shady.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of it stems from some major insecurities. Like, one of the articles I read about him is abandonment issues. You know, I think his dad was murdered, something with his mom. So especially in terms of his relationships with females, it's very controlling, very you know, it reeks of insecurity, but because he has this level of power, he exploits it and abuses it. And we saw it in that elevator video. I don't care who you are. That is not right.
Yeah.
It was very, very ugly and similar to the Ray Rice thing we saw a number of years back with the Ravens. Just, you peel back the curtain and you see that. And it's like, it's not all men do that, but obviously there are some men that do that and think that they have license.
And let's not forget the other side.
It's absolutely wrong.
And let's not forget the other side of that power equation too. He had the money to go and make that disappear, and somebody accepted that money to go make that disappear. I mean, we got a problem in society.
Oh, right? We definitely do. And that relates to one other story. We're going to jump from, you know, I mentioned J-Lo, right? And this is the tea. This is the celebrity tea. This is the trash, the tea. You know, we mentioned Diddy. We mentioned 50 Cent.
Jamin just mentioned the chick that bailed on stage over your left shoulder.
Oh yeah, because I got the fail army. You know, everyone loves the fail army because you're always wondering what might come up next. But what's coming up next is, you know, Sheldon, I read some news that made me a little sad. And that's that there might be another Hollywood divorce. And it was one of my couples that I thought, oh man, maybe this time they could do it. That's J-Lo, who we just spoke of, and Ben Affleck. You know, and the reason why this caught my attention is because 2 years ago I went to Vegas. I went to Vegas with Brittany, and that same weekend we were in Vegas, and Brittany loves J-Lo. And I think Ben Affleck is an amazing talent, but he's also Batman. And when you're Batman, you're that much cooler. And they got married the weekend we were in Vegas, and they were having adventures on the strip at the same parallel time as we were. So I was like invested in their rekindled love, and I thought they were going to last. But now the rumors are that they were on the rocks. Like, Sheldon, I
don't think it's rumors. I think.
Do you think it is?
I think they're bashed.
J-Lo's like a serial marrier. Like, she literally is the runaway bride. Like, who'd she marry? She married Puff Daddy. She married Ben Affleck, A-Rod, the other guy, not Julio Iglesias. Who's the singer?
Ricky Martin.
No, not Ricky. The other guy, Mark Anthony.
Mark Anthony. Yeah,
she's got a laundry list of husbands, not just boyfriends. Is that like? Do we even?
Well, she's saving herself for marriage, Chev. She's an honorable, respectable girl. Here's how I look at that. Like, those are some of the most talented people on the planet at the one thing that they've been able to get famous for. They're also some of the most driven people that you've ever met. And along with that comes an awful lot of ego and awful lot of selfishness. Years ago, I used to get excited about celebrities. Now I just shake my head, man. Like, I'll tell you this: everything about what you think you know about J-Lo or about Batman, is carefully scripted and put through a publicist that you only see these glimpses of them. And in the 90s, Jenny from the Block, when they're all chilling on the yacht, I thought that was pretty cool. But now I just see two people that I don't really, other than I would love to have their cash.
Yeah.
But I see two people that sold their souls for fame. They're addicted to their own success. And I think it's very hard for a person like that to truly get into a relationship and understand what it means to give of yourself first to make that relationship work. It's just too hard. It's too far gone. I'm not surprised.
This is my take on it. We had a take on Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. We think she's nuts. We think he's abused. Then we had a take on Michael Jordan and his son Marcus Jordan marrying Marcus. What's her name? Scottie
Pippen. Larissa Pippen.
Yeah. That was a nightmare of a mess. Like, they were all messed up. This is what I've heard. This is what I've read a little bit. She is very public. Like she is a mega star, right? And to be a mega star, you have to have people interested in everything you do.
Yeah.
From where you go grocery shopping to the shoes you wear to what you bought your husband on their special day. And I think that's how she lives her life, and that's her brand. I think Ben Affleck a little bit different. I think Ben Affleck, in my opinion, from what I get, is he was a guy that loved to make movies and act movies. He loved to make movies with his buddy, Matt Damon. Two nerds in drama class that just loved making movies. And they got their opportunity to make some fantastic movies. Good Will Hunting. What's the one that they, like, just so many movies. Like I can't even think of all the movies right now. Well, Pearl Harbor. But I'm saying some of the great movies that those guys have made and he made. I think he was an artist and a movie maker.
Oh, wait, different guy. Sorry, bad one.
But to be no, he was in Pearl Harbor. But to be an artist,
Matt Damon was.
No, Matt Damon wasn't. But to be an artist and in that world, to get the money to make the movies you want to make, you have to play the Hollywood game. And I think that got to him early in his career. He was married to Jennifer Garner. They probably had a simpler life, but I think that fame got to him. You said it. They sold their souls. At some point, he compromised who he was to be in the Hollywood machine. That's what I think. And then he had problems with alcoholism, divorce, all that. And now he's trying to step back. And I do believe, from what I understand, is there was a little bit of a compromise. Like he knew that, he said it in a quote. He said, listen, you can't marry a ship's captain and then say, we don't want to go to in the water anymore. But I think there was no compromise on her end. And I think it's starting to wear on them. Maybe it has, maybe it's worn them out. But I think that he's trying to turn the clock back and find himself, and she's just living that tabloid life. And it's not going to work. I feel bad for Batman. I don't like a sad Batman.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, and I like them both. Like J-Lo's super talented and she's done an amazing job. If she's making a push for Last Kick, great. Affleck, sold his soul. There's still just guys like, maybe they're not the most relatable people once you have a certain number of zeros in front of your bank account.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if this is going to be a bit of a spoiler alert. It's fun. And I know we cover some of these celebrities, but
we have
Taylor Swift, Kelsey, dude, it's not going to last.
You don't think it's going to last?
Not going to last.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, we keep on top of this stuff once in a while because it's fun. It's different. No one's getting hurt when we talk about it because everyone talks about it. But that's what we love. We love just kind of going around the clock, going around the horn and just shooting it up. You said it before. You said something wasn't the ride. You said something about the ride wasn't planned, and that is the show. We have a bit of a plan, but we don't know where it goes. Unscripted. But the nice thing is, you all stuck with us. And again, I always bring it back to this Tuesday night. It's a night for Sheldon and I to connect, have fun. We didn't know exactly where we're going with the show. But we also didn't know who was going to show up, and we didn't know where we were going to show up, and everything worked out. We're here. You're all here. Me and Sheldon are here, the nasty man, and we're having fun. Anything you want to talk about before we close it off? It's 12:15. We're way into overtime. A few minutes. Anything that you could think of. We talked Guardian Caps, 50 Cent. Home. Are you not going to go to the home opener? You're not thinking about it next week?
It's one of those things, as a grown up and a dad and running a business and we didn't even touch on this. I've got a trailer sitting out on Lake Koocanusa that I haven't been to in 4 weeks since I changed out the toilet. I want to get down to the lake and enjoy my family and enjoy a weekend off of all this craziness. So yeah, I'd like to get to the game. I don't know if I'm going to. My goal though with my boy getting into playing football again with the Mavericks is Bruno pointed out all the Mavericks that are now in the CFL. I'll probably end up even being a coach on that team, and I'm going to spend a lot of my summer coaching in football. For me, it's still the same thing. Entertainment's entertainment. I'll go when I can. I love the Stamps, but I'm not sure I'm going to be there for the home opener if I got a chance to be at the lake in my trailer.
Okay. Well, I think I'm a little bit more of a solid possibility being at that game. This weekend, I'm in Sherwood Park. My son Kyle's got a tournament in Sherwood Park. We're going to head up there for his tournament. Next weekend, he's got a tournament in St. Albert, but his mom's taking him there. So I will be in town. Having a 17-year-old that is now a graduate, going off to college with a girlfriend and a job, I don't think I'll see him next weekend. I have a 15-year-old that really loves football. And I think that maybe next Friday night might be a good opportunity to go out. Maybe Brittany's going to come in town. Maybe we'll go out for a game. Maybe we'll invite some more people, because I would actually love to go to games when the weather is nice. So I'm putting myself on a probable and quite possible. And again, it always stems on what, like you said, in this chapter of my life, where, my kids' stuff comes before mine, what is going on that's going to pull me away. In my next chapter, when my kids don't want to talk to me and your kids don't want to talk to you, it'll be Friday night. I'll be sitting at home. I'll just have eaten and I'll say, Sheldon, let's go to the game. But for now, kind of a slave to that. The last thing I want to talk about, this is the last thing, because the guys are talking about the Oilers are going to bring the win in tomorrow. It's going to go to game 6, all that stuff. Last thing, tomorrow, Oilers 50-50. You got to be an Alberta resident. Rubio, you can't do it. But if you're in Alberta, you can purchase a ticket online for the Oilers 50-50. This is like the craziest 50-50 in across Canada, right? Like it's like over $2 million. And I believe last week for the Vancouver series? Is that $4 million? Is that correct? Like $2 million, Sheldon. Can you imagine winning that 50-50? What are you going to do if you win the 50-50 for the Oilers? They're drawing it after game 4. So after tomorrow night's game.
Well, you know me. I'm a big believer in donating half of it, donating it back to charity. Like have you ever won the $200 50-50 and felt the pressure to donate it back? No, certainly not. I wouldn't be donating that back. If you won $2 million, that's situation changing money, right?
Yeah.
And what I would do is I would just make sure my situation was a little bit more comfortable. Yes. I would do something fun with the family. I'd take a trip, all that stuff, but I wouldn't change my house. I'd pay off my house. I'd invest it back into my business, and I put the rest of it working towards me so that one day I can be doing this show more often. That's what I would do. What about you, Chev?
I love what you said there, because I do want to do things like this more often. I want to do more events that help people. Like, I might not take a half of it and give it to a charity per se, but I know the way I am. I love to do stuff for people and with people. And I think part of doing the show, part of doing some events where you could do it stress-free, because you're like, yeah, we can have a free event for guys once a month.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. But yeah, it's situation changing money. I love it. I like Bruno's comment. I think you're going to have a new name now. It's going to be Brother Nasty. He said, there's the wine.
The communion wine.
Yeah, there you go. He said the mass is over. Let's just see some of the
Also, too,
comments.
like Rubio's asking, so what are we going to eat? He goes, when he comes up to Canada to come visit us, he's not eating poutine. He's not eating egg salad sandwiches. And so Jamin jumps in there, burnt ends, because I know Jamin is big on his barbecue. Yeah, Rubio, we will serve you up right. We will do some traditional American barbecue. We'll get you some brisket, some burnt ends. And if you don't know what they are, you got to look them up. They are delicious. But you know what I want to treat Rubio to is like a traditional Ukrainian meal. Some pierogies, some halibchi, Ukrainian sausage. Give you something that you can't taste down there unless you're in a Ukrainian community. But let's put it this way, Rubio, you ever get your ass up into Calgary, and Chevy and I are going to take good care of you. It won't be poutine and it won't be egg salad sandwiches. Just get your butt up here.
We're definitely going to get into Spalombos. We got to get into Spalombos.
Yep.
That's going to be, and we weren't, I don't think we're going to order an egg salad sandwich at Spalombos. It's going to be the classic chicken apple sausage. Maybe
I'm the chicken parmesan guy there.
Chicken parm. That's what I get when I'm there. They got the best stuff there. But no, we definitely can take care of you. Just ask our buddy Craig Hannum that came up. You know what? We missed the margaritas. It was a busy week for everyone. Missed the margaritas. But with that being said, Sheldon, I think we should wrap her up. It's almost 12:30. We covered a lot. We didn't know what we were going to cover. We covered a lot. We got the poem on. We got on YouTube. We got on Facebook. You're all still here chatting with us. We love seeing that. That's the cool thing. Like, I have my head down a lot now because I'm seeing the chat in both Facebook. More of it happened in YouTube. But I love that we got this community. I love that we're building the show. I love that we got guys that are going to wake up tomorrow and listen to it. We got some girls that are going to wake up tomorrow and listen to it because they don't want to stay. They're not troopers like us. But that's what we do it for. We do it for the people that want to have a little bit of escape, a little bit of entertainment, a little bit good stuff for the soul. I hope that's what it is when you decide to turn on our show. You like and subscribe to all our social media feeds, because that's what we want to do. We want to have fun. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We hope that comes across. Half the time we don't get the names right, but we're pretty damn close, Sheldon?
And it usually rhymes. It has like a right amount of syllables or related somewhere back in the past for sure.
Yeah. But we do it, like I said, we do it to create this community of not just men. It's people here. We got some ladies that listen to. We got Amanda. We got Nana Mana that's listening in, and we got people from all across Canada and United States, and that's what's fun. That's what's fun. We really appreciate having everyone here. Sheldon, are we going to be able to end it with the song? That's is the song queued up properly? Like, do you have it all ready to go? Do you think we could
for
do
a first take, first try, get it right, guys? I've got the send off music all ready to go. So I guess I'm going to end this off again. Thanks so much for joining us this week. Stay tuned. We're expecting to be back next Tuesday at 11 o'clock. Guys, thanks for joining us. Peace and love. And here you go.